Olamide was an ordinary girl with a very special gift. Ever since she was a small child, she would have dreams that showed her things that would happen in the future. Sometimes, they were happy things like her friend finding a lost toy or her father surprising the family with a delicious meal. But other times, her dreams were warnings, showing things that weren't as happy, things that scared her. Yet, no matter how many times her dreams came true, her mother Ayoola never believed her. One quiet night, Olamide dreamed of a big storm that would hit their village. She saw trees crashing down and people running from their homes. She woke up with a pounding heart and rushed to her mother's room. "Mama, there's a big storm coming. We have to tell everyone to stay safe," she said, her voice shaky. Ayoola shook her head and chuckled. "Olamide, you and your dreams," she said, smiling. "It was just a bad dream. Go back to sleep, my dear." Olamide felt a heavy sadness in her chest. She knew her dreams were never just dreams, but she couldn't make her mother believe her. So she tried to warn her neighbors instead. She told her friends to stay indoors, and she made sure her siblings didn't play outside. But her mother just kept laughing it off. The next day, as Olamide had seen in her dream, dark clouds gathered, and a fierce storm blew into the village. Trees swayed and fell, roofs flew off houses, and rain poured down like never before. Olamide's family was safe because she had closed all the windows and tied down anything that could blow away, but the neighbors weren't so lucky. Many of them lost parts of their homes, and some even got hurt. Ayoola saw the destruction and felt a chill run down her spine. Could it be that Olamide's dreams were real? She hugged her daughter tightly, whispering, "I should have listened to you." After that, Ayoola promised to pay attention to Olamide's dreams. For a while, life seemed peaceful, and Olamide's dreams were small and ordinary. But one night, she had a terrible dream about her best friend, Toby, falling into a deep, dark hole. The next morning, Olamide ran to her mother. "Mama, Toby is in danger. I saw it in my dream. We need to warn him." But this time, Ayoola hesitated. "Olamide, maybe you're just worried about Toby. You two play together all the time. Don't worry yourself over dreams." Olamide felt a tear roll down her cheek. "Mama, I know it sounds strange, but I can feel it. Toby needs our help." Despite her pleading, Ayoola didn't take her seriously, and Olamide felt powerless. She tried to tell Toby herself, but he just laughed and shrugged it off, saying, "I'm not going near any holes today, Olamide. Don't worry." But later that day, Toby went to the forest, and just like in her dream, he stumbled and fell into a deep hole. Luckily, someone nearby heard his cries and pulled him out, but he was hurt and frightened. When Ayoola heard what happened, guilt weighed heavily on her heart. She started to wonder if Olamide's dreams were a gift, something to protect others. After that day, Ayoola paid closer attention, asking Olamide about her dreams each morning. One night, Olamide dreamed of a dangerous river that looked calm on the surface but was full of strong currents beneath. She saw her father, who was planning to fish by the river the next day, being pulled under the water. When she woke, she ran to Ayoola and shared her dream. This time, Ayoola took Olamide's words to heart. She warned her husband, and he decided to stay away from the river. The next day, news spread that the river had pulled in a fisherman from the village, just as Olamide had seen. Little by little, Olamide's family and neighbors began to trust her gift, even though they couldn't fully understand it. But Olamide also felt the weight of her dreams grow heavier. She started having dreams of a stranger coming to the village with a smile on his face, but darkness hiding behind his eyes. When she told her mother, Ayoola took her hands and said, "You are so brave, Olamide. Together, we will keep our family and our village safe." Olamide was relieved that her mother believed her now, but the dream of the stranger haunted her. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw his face, a man with a friendly smile, yet something about his eyes sent a chill down her spine. In her dream, the man walked into their village, and strange things began to happen. She couldn't see exactly what, but she knew he brought trouble with him. One bright morning, as she and her mother were sweeping the yard, a traveler appeared on the dusty road. He was tall and well-dressed, carrying a shiny leather bag, and his smile was warm. Olamide froze when she saw his face. It was the man from her dream. Her heart raced, and she whispered, "Mama, that's him. He's the one." Ayoola's eyes widened. She looked at Olamide, then at the man approaching their home. She wasn't sure what to do. "Maybe he's just passing by," she said quietly, hoping her daughter was mistaken. But the man walked right up to them and introduced himself as Kola. He said he was a traveling merchant, and he had come to bring new goods to the village. He flashed a big smile and offered to show them colorful cloths and shiny trinkets. Ayoola glanced at Olamide, trying to read her face, but Olamide was staring at Kola with a mixture of fear and suspicion. When Ayoola hesitated, Kola chuckled and said, "Don't be afraid. I'm just a humble merchant. I bring beautiful things for your village." Olamide's heart was pounding. She wanted to shout, "Go away," but she didn't have any proof he was bad. She decided to keep a close watch on him instead. She warned her mother again, saying, "Mama, please be careful around him. I saw him in my dream, and he brought trouble." Ayoola nodded, respecting her daughter's instincts, but she couldn't ask the man to leave without a reason. So, she stayed cautious, and every day, she told Olamide to let her know if she dreamed anything more. That night, Olamide had another dream. She saw Kola again, this time sneaking into the village at night, carrying something heavy. She couldn't see what it was, but he was hiding it in the forest, away from prying eyes. She saw him burying something near the old well, and she felt a cold wave of fear wash over her. The next morning, Olamide went straight to her mother and told her what she had seen. Ayoola looked troubled. "Maybe we should tell the village chief," she whispered, but she wasn't sure if anyone would believe them based only on a dream. Olamide and her mother decided to wait and watch, keeping their eyes on Kola. Over the next few days, strange things started to happen. One family reported that their food supplies had gone missing, and another said they had lost some valuables. The villagers began whispering about a thief among them. One night, Olamide stayed up late, watching from her window. Just as she had dreamed, she saw Kola sneaking through the shadows, carrying a heavy sack on his back. She knew she couldn't keep this to herself any longer. Early the next morning, she and Ayoola went to the village chief and told him everything about her dreams and what she had seen that night. The chief was hesitant at first, but after hearing that Olamide's dreams had warned the village before, he decided to investigate. The villagers gathered, and the chief led a group of men to the old well in the forest, just like in Olamide's dream. When they dug near the well, they found the missing items, hidden under a pile of stones. The villagers gasped and looked at Kola with anger and disbelief. He tried to defend himself, claiming he was innocent, but no one believed him now. The village chief banished Kola, and he left with a scowl on his face, muttering curses as he walked away. The villagers were grateful to Olamide, but the experience left her feeling uneasy. She realized her gift was both a blessing and a burden. She had saved her village from harm, but every night, she worried about what her dreams might show her next. As time went on, Olamide's dreams continued to come, some happy, some frightening. One night, she dreamed of her father falling ill. She saw him lying in bed, weak and pale, and her heart broke in the dream. When she woke up, she couldn't stop crying. Ayoola comforted her, saying, "It was only a dream, Olamide. Your father is strong and healthy." But deep down, Olamide knew her dreams always held the truth. She told her father to be careful and to rest, but he laughed it off, saying, "Don't worry about me, little one. I'm as strong as a bull." A few days later, her father caught a strange fever. He grew weaker each day, just like in her dream. Ayoola was heartbroken, and she remembered all the times she hadn't listened to Olamide's dreams. She knelt by her daughter's side and asked, "Olamide, is there anything we can do? Did your dream show you how to help him?" Olamide closed her eyes, trying to remember every detail of her dream. Then, she recalled a woman in the dream, a healer who lived by the river. "Mama, we need to find the healer by the river," she whispered. Ayoola wasted no time, carrying her husband and setting off with Olamide to find the healer. When they reached the healer's home, the old woman welcomed them, listening carefully to Olamide's story. She mixed herbs and made a potion for Olamide's father, who drank it with a grateful heart. Little by little, he began to recover, and Ayoola's heart filled with relief and gratitude. From that day on, Ayoola never doubted her daughter's dreams again. She learned that even the strangest dreams could hold important truths, and Olamide grew stronger in her gift, knowing that her family would always stand by her. As for Olamide, she felt a deep sense of purpose, knowing that her dreams weren't just for herself, they were meant to help others and keep her village safe. And though she still feared what she might see in her dreams, she faced each night with courage, ready to meet whatever came next. Olamide's gift grew stronger with time, and soon, the entire village knew about the girl whose dreams could see the future. Some villagers came to her with questions, asking her if she had dreamed about their families or if she could help them solve their problems. Olamide was happy to help, but it was also exhausting. She was just a young girl, and sometimes, she just wanted to be like everyone else, playing in the fields, laughing with her friends, and running through the village without a care in the world. One night, Olamide had a dream that chilled her to the bone. She saw a dark shadow looming over the village, spreading like a blanket over the trees, the houses, and the people. The air in her dream felt heavy, and she could barely breathe. She saw people falling ill, coughing, and struggling to catch their breath. A sickness was coming, something dangerous and unstoppable. She woke up with tears streaming down her face. She knew she had to warn everyone, but she was afraid. Would they believe her this time? It was not just about one person or a small incident, this was something that could affect everyone in the village. That morning, she went to her mother, Ayoola, who could see the worry in her daughter's eyes. "Mama," Olamide whispered, her voice trembling, "there's a sickness coming. I saw it in my dream. People will fall ill. We need to warn everyone." Ayoola held her daughter close, feeling the fear radiating from her. She knew better than to doubt Olamide's dreams, especially now. "We will go to the village chief," she said firmly. "The people need to know, and we must prepare." Together, they went to the chief's house, where Olamide shared her dream. The chief listened carefully, but he seemed uncertain. "How can we prepare for something we cannot see?" he asked, scratching his head. "And what if it does not come? People will laugh and say we are afraid of shadows." But Ayoola spoke up, her voice strong. "Chief, my daughter's dreams have saved us many times. We cannot ignore this. Better to be safe and prepared than to do nothing and suffer later." After some thought, the chief agreed. He gathered the villagers and told them about Olamide's dream. Some people believed her, while others shook their heads, saying, "It's only a dream. She's just a child. Why should we be afraid?" Despite the doubts, Ayoola and Olamide worked tirelessly. They went from house to house, urging people to stay clean, to wash their hands, and to avoid crowded places. They gathered herbs and medicine, preparing for the worst. Some listened, but many did not, laughing and calling Olamide's warning silly. Days passed, and life in the village went on as usual. But then, just as Olamide had seen, people started to fall ill. First, it was a young boy who began coughing and struggling to breathe. Then, an older man grew weak, and soon, others followed. The sickness spread quickly, and the villagers began to panic. They remembered Olamide's warning, and those who had laughed now wished they had listened. Ayoola and Olamide did their best to help the sick, bringing them the herbs they had gathered and caring for them. The healer from the river joined them, mixing medicines and treating those who were the worst affected. Olamide's heart ached for her friends and neighbors, and she prayed each night for their health. One night, as Olamide was drifting to sleep, she had another dream. This time, she saw a bright light, a warmth that seemed to push the darkness away. She saw the villagers gathered together, laughing and healthy again, and she felt hope filling her heart. She saw the healer mixing a new herb, something she hadn't used before. Olamide watched closely, memorizing the plant and the way the healer prepared it. When she woke up, she ran to her mother and the healer, describing the plant she had seen. The healer's eyes widened. "I know this plant," she said. "It's rare and grows deep in the forest. But if we find it, it may help cure the sickness." Olamide and the healer set off with a few other villagers who were still well enough to travel. They walked through the dense forest, searching for the plant Olamide had described. After hours of searching, they found it growing in a shaded grove, just as she had seen in her dream. They gathered as much of it as they could carry and hurried back to the village. The healer mixed the plant into a special medicine, and they began giving it to the sick. Slowly, day by day, the villagers started to recover. The coughing stopped, the fevers faded, and the strength returned to those who had been weak. The village was filled with relief and gratitude. The villagers gathered around Olamide and her mother, thanking them for saving their lives. Even the chief knelt before her, promising to always trust her dreams from that day on. Olamide felt proud but humble. She knew her dreams were a gift, something to protect the people she loved. She looked at her mother, who smiled proudly, and knew that she was never alone in facing the mysteries her dreams brought her. But deep down, she also knew that her dreams would continue, showing her things yet to come, some happy, some frightening, and some that would test her courage and strength in ways she had yet to imagine. As she grew, Olamide embraced her gift, knowing it was her destiny to protect her village and everyone she loved. And with her mother by her side, she felt ready to face whatever dreams the future would bring. As time passed, Olamide continued to have dreams that guided the village. Some were warnings, others held promises of joyful events, and occasionally she saw glimpses of lives yet to unfold. She grew older and wiser, her gift strengthening as the villagers grew to trust her more each day. Olamide's heart was filled with a sense of purpose, knowing she was helping to protect the people she loved. One night, she had a dream unlike any she had ever experienced. In this dream, she was standing on a hill, overlooking the entire village. A warm, golden light surrounded everything, and she felt a deep peace wash over her. In the dream, she saw herself as a grown woman, standing tall and strong, with the villagers gathered around her, smiling and happy. The village looked prosperous, the fields full of crops, and the children were laughing and playing. But then, the scene shifted. A great storm began to roll in from the horizon, dark clouds swallowing the light. She saw lightning and heard the roar of thunder, and the ground shook beneath her feet. Yet, even as the storm approached, the villagers continued to stand beside her, unafraid. Olamide felt something powerful awaken within her, a strength she had never known. She raised her hands, and the storm halted, its dark clouds parting to reveal a sky full of stars. When she woke up, her heart was filled with courage and hope. She understood now that her gift was not only about seeing what was to come but also about giving strength and courage to others. She went to her mother and shared the dream with her, her voice steady and confident. Ayoola looked at her daughter, her heart swelling with pride. "You have become a blessing to us all, Olamide. Your dreams have saved this village more times than we can count. Remember, no matter what storms come, you will always have us by your side." Years went by, and Olamide continued to guide her people with wisdom and love. She married a kind man named Tond, who understood and respected her gift. Together, they raised a family, teaching their children about the power of kindness, courage, and the strength of dreams. As Olamide grew older, she passed her knowledge and her stories on to her children and the children of the village, who would gather around her to listen to tales of her dreams and adventures. She became known as Olamide the Dreamer, a legend in the village, someone who had guided and protected them for generations. One warm evening, as the sun set over the hills and painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, Olamide felt a gentle peace settle over her. Surrounded by her family and the villagers who loved her, she closed her eyes, a soft smile on her face. She drifted into a deep, restful sleep, knowing her village was safe and her dreams had fulfilled their purpose. That night, the villagers dreamed of her, of the girl who could see the future and had saved them from danger time and again. They dreamed of her standing on that hill, watching over them, a light that would never fade. And so, Olamide's legacy lived on, her spirit woven into the hearts of her people, forever a guiding light in their dreams and their lives.